Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordon Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. This is the Say No to PPOs series. I'm your co-host today, Jordon Comstock, and Ben is working hard out there while we're doing the podcast here, so he was not able to make it onto the show today. We just finished up here in Utah doing our event in Salt Lake City. It was a success. We met lots of awesome people, and awesome people flew from all over the country to come see us. So that was really fun to meet all those people and hang out with them for a day and educate them on negotiating PPOs and creating and growing membership programs and overcoming financial and insurance objections from the patients. So it was an awesome event. We are looking to do more of these events, everyone listening. So we'll be announcing our next one in the next little bit here. But we will be traveling as well. So it's not always going to be here in Utah. But just thought I'd get that out so everyone knows that we're going to continue doing these events. So if you missed us this last time, you'll probably see us the next time. So today, I have an awesome guest. She's been on our podcast before. Her name is Penny Reed from Penny Reed & Associates. Penny, what is up?
What's up? Well, first, I just want to say, what's up? Yeah, first, I want to say, Ben, we're so sorry that you're out there slaving away while we're having so much fun on this podcast. So we missed you, and we just wanted to let you know that you're being thought about. Thank you for being out there fighting the good fight.
Yes, Ben. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. So, hey, I want to be maybe one day you'll invite me to one of your live events. That would be so
absolutely
awesome. I'm putting that on my bucket list.
Put that on your bucket list, Penny. Yeah,
I am.
It'll be crossed off soon, I'm sure.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So today, I'm actually super excited for this content. Penny, you and I were, I think, chatting on Facebook some time ago, maybe a few weeks ago, and there was a thread on Facebook that a lot of practices were talking about how to get out of network with PPOs and just altogether just try to drop plans and things like that. And some practices were a little stressed about it, and others were, having success, and they're sharing their tips. And both you and I think, were on that thread making comments, and then I messaged you and said, you got to come on my podcast and let's chat about, getting rid of PPOs and growing membership programs and things like that. But today, Penny has developed some pretty cool content, I think. We're going to talk about how Walt Disney, or the company Disney, right, would work with PPOs and how they would do membership programs. So, Penny, let's start off though. Let's give it a proper introduction. Can you tell our audience who you are? I know you've been on our show before, but it's always good to repeat that. Tell us who you are, and then let's go into your content here that you've created for the show today.
Fantastic. Yes, so I am a dental business coach. I've written a book called Growing Your Dental Business.
Yes, I have that book.
Yes. Awesome. There'll be a quiz later.
I'm not good at quizzes.
No quiz. No quiz. We're playing, right? Yeah. So I had been in management with a little company you may have heard of called the Walmart Corporation. I was in IT and then moved back to Memphis, which I'm from Memphis, live and work outside of the Memphis area, but moved back here and bumped into my dentist at church, and he said, "Hey, are you back visiting?" I said, "No, I've moved back." So he talked with me. He hired me to be his office manager. That is a very brave man, because this was 1992. I did no dental other than going to the dentist. I mean, I was not qualified to be a dental office manager. And we joked. I said, I don't know how to run a dental practice. He said, "That's okay. I've had one for 11 years and I'm still not really sure that I know how to run it." Yeah. So anyway, that is how my career in dentistry started. And it's been a wild ride, right? I was his office manager for a couple of years and have now am entering my 25th year of doing consulting, speaking, and coaching. So I've learned a lot along the way, and a lot has changed. I mean, Jordon, back when I started in the dental practice, we were one of the few offices that I knew of that had a fax machine. I mean, it was a different world back then. If you had a portable phone, it was in a bag that you had to plug into the ashtray of your car. So, I mean, this was back in the days of just right after CDs became a thing. So I'm old. But a lot has changed. But even back then, and I touched on this on the previous episode, we had what was worse than a PPO. We had a DMO.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was sort of like they paid us a nice check every month. But basically the patients came to the all you can eat or all you
dentistry
can
buffet.
have dentistry buffet, with the exception of root canals and crowns, for which we were paid half. And our utilization was probably at 90%. I mean, this was a private school employees, and his wife taught there. And so they all came and they brought their kids. And so it was a process. And I think that's one thing that I really want to stress is, I believe, hey, this is America. Anybody can accomplish it. And Walt Disney, right? If you can dream it, you can do it. Is it possible for every practice to get off of PPOs? Well, I want to say, sure, it's possible. Now, in some areas, it may be smart to be on one or two, right? I mean, but I think the whole thing is you don't want to go all in, right? Unless you're brand new and you don't have any patients and you're thinking, hey, I would rather be on PPOs than starve, right?
Yep.
But you also don't want to get completely out immediately, right? I mean, this is not a yank up the emergency brake. The more dramatic the move is, the more likely there is for there to be a big dip in the cash flow.
Yeah, some drama in the cash flow right there.
Oh, yeah. And hey, it's stressful. There's stress with money and stress without money. So let's just stick with the stress with money, since we know we're going to have a little bit of it. But I love, you and I know, I think we're both big kids, even though I'm an older kid than you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Yep.
Yeah, I love Disney and the Disney theme parks, and
and Ben's right there with us. He's a big kid too. He's always going to Disneyland.
The other reason, we've got our mouse ears on, Ben, so we really miss you. But that's the other reason why I, when I can get my hands on a book that is interesting, and I'll refer back to the If Disney Ran Your Hospital, 9.5 things you would do differently. So it's not a direct application to dentistry, and it doesn't have anything to do with PPOs.
Yeah.
But what it does have to do with is the, being able to, I'm going to pause. I'm so sorry. The doorbell ring.
Oh, you're good. I'll just note that, and we can take it out.
I can't guarantee you that it's not going to happen again. We just moved, and I need to get a sign to put on the door. So I'll go back to the title of the book.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. But so I'm always looking to get my hands on things that that are Disney related that we can apply to business. And there was a particular book that spoke to me, 9.5 things you would do differently if Disney ran your hospital, right? So from that, it really talks about it hits at the core of the culture piece. And in my mindset, we used to think, well, if you're going to get off plans, you've got to have the right scripts. That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Got to have a marketing plan.
Absolutely.
That's true. You need to have Boom Cloud, right? You need to have an alternative. Boom. Right. Yeah. So yes, you need all of those things, but in order to really make that work, all the systems and the how-tos in the world won't help if we don't have, our team on board. If we don't have effective and supportive beliefs in place to be able to support that. So
absolutely.
And I'll kind of lead into, I know we actually did prepare folks for today's session. Yeah. So I'll lead into, I know one of the first things that we wanted to talk about, I was in a client office. Some clients I work with for a longer term, like maybe 12 months or longer, and others will have me come in and do, kind of a standalone consultation or engagement to say, hey, where are we? What recommendations could you make? And this one of the doctors in the group, mentioned, hey, I'm getting out of network. which that's a whole nother dynamic, right? When one
yeah.
gets out and 3 stay in, that's a toughie. We may want to add that as a PS at the end.
Yeah.
But his go-to person that has been his primary scheduler for years, she, because he's telling me, hey, could you give her a script? I said, absolutely, I'll give her a script, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I sat down and talked with all of the admin team for 10 or 15 minutes individually and just said, what do you think's working? What would you like support with? And she said, Penny, this is such a mistake. Such a mistake. Yeah. Like he can't do, he doesn't understand that, the average people in our community, they can't afford to go out of network.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you talked about
did she do some like
negative boom, right? Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Did the office manager do like marketing?
Absolutely, yes. And this isn't the office manager, right? So
okay,
this was the primary person that schedules the appointments.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? That first on the phone, the one that's going to be talking to the new patients.
Yeah.
And the main one that will be fielding a lot of the questions first from the existing patients about why doesn't Dr. XYZ, why isn't he on my plan anymore, right? So this administrative team member, not the office manager, the administrative team member that's first on the phone, she, at the core of her being, just felt like this was wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
And that they would not participate in the plans. In other words, it's not fair. Our patients don't have the money. So, where the tie-in comes in, and I want to talk a little bit more in a minute about belief cycle, but where the light bulb flashes on for me about Disney, right, and the whole culture piece is one of the things that the Disney theme parks and Disney resorts are awesome at. Is they understand that their team has to get it in order for the guests to get it. So in other words, if they did dentistry, right, how would they do, their communication? If they made a decision not to participate in plans, not only would the team understand that is what was happening, but they would be so fully engaged in the why that they would feel good about it, right? Or they might even decide, and I'm not saying that the sweet lady that had been in this office for years couldn't be there anymore, but there wasn't enough discussion in it that she really understood the true why behind his decision and what was in it for her, right? Yeah. And that was a more difficult situation because you've got one doctor wanting to do something differently than the others. That's also a culture piece, right? Can you imagine in Disney World if it was like, well, yeah, so we're going to run the Magic Kingdom the same way that we've been running it, but Epcot, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios, we're going to run those like Six Flags, right? So, I mean, that's a whole other piece.
Problem,
if you want that to be successful, you're reducing the PPOs. It really, and I realize there are some exceptions, but if a senior doctor, if you've got more than one, and one is getting off plans and the others are staying on, and the one that's getting off plans is insistent that he doesn't want his part of the practice to shrink, that does create some internal conflict.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And confusion on behalf of the admin team. So the importance of that belief cycle, right? And thinking about Disney, if we believe that we're there to, for the benefit of the guests, to help them have an awesome experience, then that's what we're going to focus on, right? How do we keep them safe? How do we make sure they're not only having a good time, but they're making memories? So our actions will follow along those lines. And then the result is hey, when we go to Disney World, we have an awesome time.
Yeah.
With the PPOs, if we've got team members that diabolically to their core believe that not participating in the plan is either, they either believe that it's wrong, or they may say, hey, I get why we're not doing it, but our patients aren't going to come.
Yeah.
So what level of success will those team members have in being able to successfully win a patient over into staying? So I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
Oh, I don't think they'd have any success if the mindset is split, right, between the doctor and the scheduling, person of the practice. I think that's going to cause some big issues.
Absolutely. And it comes out in that, well, we tried to get off of the plans.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. Well, some of that, and I'll touch on my thoughts about that in a moment,
Yeah.
may have to do with how rapidly they did it. Did they do the kiss of death, which I'll talk about what to never do. See that now you guys are on pins and needles going to stay until I can't wait to hear what Penny says what to never do. But the team has got to be on board with it. They need to not only understand what's in it for, what's in it for the doctor is he or she's gonna get more money.
Yeah,
well, what's in it for me as a team member? Well, hey, I like raises, right? I like working in an office where we're recommending and asking the patient what is it that they really want instead of what will their insurance pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we like freedom.
Of
right?
course, yeah. And less red tape, right?
Less red tape. And one thing that you can count on in it is that the dental insurance is not going to become simple.
No, it's just getting more complicated as we go.
Absolutely. And there are more and more of those individual plans. And we had talked about this a little bit before the call. Like if you've ever been to dentalplans.com, I knew I was lucky enough to get to talk to Jordon and Ben. Oh, Ben, how we miss you.
How we miss you, Ben.
Yes, we do. So I went to dentalplans.com. Like I'm on Google saying, how do I buy dental insurance? Like I'm pretending to be a patient.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's a great exercise for all practices to do.
Yeah. You go to dentalplans.com, see what pops up. Well, if my belief cycle says, wow, I do want, it's not that it's bad if patients have dental benefits through work. That's great.
Yeah.
We want to talk to them about all the reasons why they should still come here, even though we may be out of network or heading that way. But we must have a dental membership plan because Cigna has one.
Yeah.
Right? Go to dentalplans.com. I mean, you may call it something a little bit different, right? Or they're calling it a savings plan.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there.
Oh, yeah. And they're horrible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The third-party administered membership programs, right? Like Cigna Plus, like you said here, and I think there's Carrington and things like that. Obviously they can bring some value, like in terms of lead gen to your office, but in terms of loyalty to building a loyal patient base and a patient base that you can continue making a profit off of, it's not there in those types of plans.
Well, and if we have a culture that says, okay, again, we realize that the dental benefits has its place, right? It does have people looking to come to the dentist. And, so that part's, we're not trying to say that that's a terrible thing. But if we have patients that know us, like us, and trust us, and for whatever reason, it gets to the point, because it will happen, where if we're not in network, there are no benefits payable. I mean, I don't know when that will happen, but it'll happen. Yeah. We need to begin now to say, hey, I know you have a dental benefit plan, and that's awesome. A lot of our patients don't. We wanted to let you know it's different than dental insurance, but we actually have an in-house membership plan, and a lot of our patients love it because they're not held up by all the red tape. They don't have to worry about, are they going to get on a plan that our office doesn't participate with?
Yeah.
And all of the, so if we're passionate about our patients having that freedom and really being able to talk about the membership plan, and we're planting seeds along the way, hopefully if we have patients that don't have dental benefits, not to say, some people may have the theory, well, wouldn't I just rather them pay me my full fee than be in the membership plan? No, because we want it to be like the Hotel California. Yeah, we want them to never leave.
Absolutely. I love that song, by the way. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, and practices do have that mindset, right? The ones that are out of network. Why do we want to, we'd rather get our full fee, but often patients will not get treatment done because the fees are too high. You got to use discounts to some degree, right?
It's the American way.
In the right way, yeah, so that they can help you, increase case acceptance, especially if you're a fee-for-service practice.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and then just so you know, Penny, I'm sure you do, I know Disney has a membership club.
They
as well.
do.
Yeah, so
the Disney Vacation Club.
The Vacation Club. I'm on their website right now. There's multiple ways you can buy, but most of it is, paying monthly or some type of
Absolutely
cost, right? So,
oh yes, yes. And if you're ever there, of course, I'm not recommending that you buy one, but you should go on the sales pitch tour. It's phenomenal about all the money that you have to spend to save, right? About all the money that you'll save. But Disney,
exactly.
they have figured out how to make that, affordable. And so again, it's less about us of course we want our full fee.
Of course, my who doesn't?
Who wouldn't? What dental team member, if they could go to work and make 100% of their daily or hourly wage, or go to another place and only make 80%, who's going to the 80%, So no, not only has Disney figured that out as far as the Disney Vacation Club, but and I'm trying to remember where I heard this from, but I thought it was anyone can make a plan to take their family to Disney. So just like Walmart has layaway,
absolutely,
you can for no fee go to the Walt Disney World website and you can set up a Disney profile, right, with your email and your password. And you can start depositing money in there.
There we go.
You could plan a trip that's so in other words, they've not lowered their fees. Right. I mean, they've managed to continue. Of course, they're also raising the bar on customer experience.
I think that's probably the biggest thing, right? That they do. They focus on customer experience, which a lot of practices don't really do that. The good ones do, obviously.
Yeah. Or they say they do, but they really don't.
Yeah, they don't really understand that. So can we?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is way off topic, but can we go into that a little bit? What does it mean to give a good patient experience to a practice?
Well, it means a lot of it is actually making a concerted effort to ask each patient what's important to them. So
some market research.
Absolutely. Or even individually, what's most important to you regarding your mouth and your smile? What are your goals?
Yeah. Well, for me right now, I'm trying to white my teeth, so that's really important to me. And then I'm thinking about an easy option to straighten. So I got some crooked teeth in my mouth, right? So that, if you were to ask me, that would be it, right, as a patient, right? So and look at most of that stuff, like straighten my teeth, that has nothing to do with insurance. Most insurance plans don't cover that. Correct.
Right. But the average patient doesn't know that.
The average patient does not know that. So if I were a patient and I'm not, let's say I'm not Jordon Comstock, I don't know nothing about dental benefits or insurance or anything like that. And you asked me that question and then you said, well, Jordon, you can do that right now. We either have a payment option, or if you sign up for like our membership program, you get $1,000 off that, or whatever you have in your membership program for that, right? So I think, you're right. So sitting down and asking patients one-to-one, maybe even using a survey tool that you can get to the masses as well, but doing both, right? One-to-one.
Absolutely.
And to the masses, understanding what your patients are looking for and what's important to them, right? And you'll find that there's probably trends in your patient base that you could go after and improve those topics or those services,
or how you market, right? So
or how you market.
So
absolutely.
So playing on the Jordon Comstock as a patient, not someone in the dental industry, follow-up question or even a comment could be, oh, that's so awesome. So, what are you currently doing to get your teeth whiter? Right? So you may say, oh, I'm, hey, you made me whitening trays, you big dummy. Or, I've been using Crest white strips, just,
is that the really convenient ones where they come in the tray and you don't have to get impressions and things like that?
The Crest white strips from when I'm not speaking as a dental professional, I'm speaking as a patient. Those are the ones that are like some really strange adhesive with some whitening stuff on it, and they like stick on your teeth like Saran wrap. And then when you pull it off, it's kind of strange and weird. But yes, there's no impressions involved.
Okay, so I as a if you're going to ask me that question again, as a patient, I have a horrible gag reflex. Like I can't stand impressions. So I really want to white my teeth, and I don't want to get impressions. Or if I'm going to do impressions, I'm going to go do them myself by the lab, right? But that's Jordon Comstock as the dental professional. So this is Jordon Comstock as a non-dental professional. That would worry me, right? I don't want to go and gag and embarrass myself in front of people, right? I don't want to do that. So, and the other day, my mom is an office manager, Penny. I don't know if you knew that.
You told me that.
Okay. Most people do.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
she was at the event.
Background and
she was
office manager.
Yeah, she was at at the event with us in Utah. It was really fun.
Awesome.
In fact, almost my whole family was there. It was crazy because we're all in the dental industry. So, but anyways, she gave me some. It was like a tray, like a tray with whitening goop in it, right? Where I just put it into my mouth, and it bleached my teeth, right? So that's something that I had no idea that a patient could get. Coming from, now back to Jordon as a dental professional, coming from a lab background, I didn't even know patients could do that. I thought they always had to get impressions and the bleaching trays and things like that. So that's what I've been doing for like whitening, because it's really convenient. And keep that in mind that most patients are probably like Jordon Comstock here. They want convenience, right? I loved how convenient that was, because my biggest problem was getting those impressions because I don't want to gag.
But our assumption is, right, that patients make decisions based solely on price, and it's not true.
No, it is not true. No, because those impression or the trays that are like pre-made were, I think, maybe $50 or something per arch or whatever. I don't know if it's per arch, but I would gladly pay that to not have to worry about taking impressions for bleaching trays.
Sure.
Right? Like, and over time, that would probably cost way more money than me just getting bleaching trays and buying, some bleach, right, or whatever it's called, for my for whitening my teeth. So, anyways,
whitening material is what we used to call it, right? But I think unless we asked you questions, we wouldn't know. It's like,
you wouldn't know what's important to me as a patient.
We wouldn't. And so that's one thing that Disney is awesome at, and their version of what's most important to you, or what are your goals, for this trip, right? Which they would ask it in a more Disney way. Is there anything that you would be celebrating, right? And that's when they find out what it's. Oh, now they've got you. Oh, yeah. Right? I mean, number one, you've got Disney layaway now.
You get the little badge, right? That, like, my wife...
Yeah, you get the birthday button or the anniversary or it's my first trip.
And they treat you like gold when you got those badges on. It's amazing.
Well, not only do they've even trained the rest of us to treat people that way. Yeah. I mean, I'm running around, happy birthday, princess. I mean, it's contagious, but it comes from all of that. And you know that I have an event coming up in May at Disney.
Yes, at Disney.
Because I mean, it's culture, right? Culture's sort of that whole warm fuzzy. What is that? Well, it's the environment that we create, getting away from PPOs, and just using this as an example, and moving away from that towards the membership plan. Is the strategy is important. Hear me. It's definitely important.
Very important.
But it starts with the mindset and the beliefs.
I agree.
And that's got to be in place, or none of these other boom cloud won't work.
No, and I've seen practices where they are super successful with their membership program because of exactly what you said there. Everyone's on the same page. They have the same mindset. The culture's there, right? But then you get other practices out there that don't quite understand that, and they struggle, right, to grow their program. And really what you're teaching here, Penny, is very essential, but it's also very simple.
It's incredibly simple. Yeah. It's incredibly simple to grasp.
Yeah. Maybe not to get the habit of doing it. Maybe that's the challenge there.
To fully adopt it and live it.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's always there's social proof out there to prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Right? You've got all the other people saying, well, we tried to get off the plans. It didn't work. Well, you know what? You're not worried about everybody else. You are worried about you, right? Yeah. You're worried about your practice. So again, what's in it for them? If what's in it for the patient, and the team has to understand that. It can't be all about, well, hey, we're going to win more and the patient's going to lose. Yeah. Well, that's going to bother everybody at a gut level. So, again, what, in addition to the fact that they could still have dental benefits by being on your membership plan, what are the other advantages, right? There are no exclusions like ortho.
Yeah, no waiting.
Well, I'm curious, Jordon, what's, you've mentioned that you'd like to do that. Yeah. Is that something that you're ready to do now? Or do you mind if I ask what's prevented you from moving forward with that sooner?
Yeah.
You may say no insurance.
No insurance. Yeah. And I don't have any dental insurance.
Yeah.
I'm being really honest here.
Well, and I do, but for it's because my husband has it through his work. It doesn't. Most of my 95% of my adult life, I've not had it. Right.
Yeah.
And most of that time, I've also not been employed in the dental office, which brings up another point for the team. The team pays little of nothing for dental. Right. That's the other thing that we have to wrap our brain around, is that we've got team members talking to patients about spending money on what we offer, what we provide. Uh-huh. And most of them, other than lab fee, pay zero.
Yeah.
Right. So they've got to know that it is expensive. Cars are expensive. Disney World is expensive.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that, there's an investment that goes toward it, but we're not asking the patient to not have a benefit plan. We're trying to show them the alternative is your membership plan.
Yeah.
And it may be 6 months, it may be 12 months, as far as, how do we know that we're ready, and recommended time frame. These were some things I know that we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
My recommendation is it's a minimal for a specific plan, right?
Yeah.
A 6 to 12 month process. Not that you can't do more than one at a time, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think obviously it's good to take your time when you're learning to reduce dependence on PPOs, right? More importantly, it's good to look at the data, right? We're on this PPO plan. How much is it costing us, right? How much are we writing off each year? How many patients are on this? Things like that to think about. But yeah, I definitely agree that you take your time but analyze. Some practices do go a little bit faster than others from what I've seen out there. But I'm a big believer, if you're going to make a big change like that in the practice, to take your time and to analyze the data behind the numbers, right? If you're on a certain plan that's forcing you to write off, a good chunk of your profit, right? How are you able to support those patients in reality, right? Because that's what I recommend looking at the numbers and making sure that they're a fit, and then obviously increasing your marketing and understanding, like what Penny keeps saying, understanding the customer experience and like, ask yourself, are you giving a good customer experience, right? To each
absolutely.
And how can it, and if not, or how can you improve it? No matter where you are, whether you have an awesome customer experience, how can you improve it? Because in my mind, that's the better mindset to have, is, okay, we're doing awesome, but how can we continue doing better, right?
Absolutely. And my clients that are fee for service, I tell them, I said, hey, I'm harder on you guys than I am on the ones that aren't.
Yeah,
I said so just get your your tough skin on, because I don't ever want you to have to be on the plans, right? It's one thing, because once you're on them, I mean, it's a whole nother ball game. And so little things that may seem like really, really small, but when someone has a crown seated, right, whether if it's the same day, prep and seat, or if it's seated a few weeks after, make post-seat calls.
Yeah.
Crowns are a significant investment for those patients. Call them.
Absolutely.
1 to 2 weeks after it was seated. Your denture patients and your you wind up seeing them, right, because they come in for adjustments. But you're calling the others. Well, how did that feel? Is you're doing okay? You're not calling to schedule the next phase of treatment. You're calling to be sure that they are happy, right?
Yeah.
Because if they're not, often they won't tell you, and that's when they just decide that they're not showing up for their 6-month appointment, and they're never coming back.
Yeah, they're moving on.
Yeah, they're moving on. So the other thing that the recommended time frame does, and we've danced around this, is you will need to increase your marketing budget, and part of the increase of that will also be, if you don't already utilize Boom Cloud, right? Getting yourself signed up for that, and then promoting it, and not just a little bit. But the main reason I like for there to be a runway is this is a face-to-face conversation chairside conversation with your patients. And I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to the kiss of death is mailing a letter.
Oh, yes. I've heard this where they mail the letter and say they're not in the network anymore.
Oh, yeah. In other words, I'm trying to keep this a family show, but, I find my butt is so chapped. If I'm the owner doctor, I'm done. And that was the rant that we were reading on the Facebook
Yes,
group.
that was it. That was it.
Yeah. I am done with these plans. I'm getting off of all of them. Well, you know what? Ripping off the Band-Aid is usually not a great idea.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shock.
It is a shock. And I have seen some practices do that and they recover and do well afterwards. But I'm with you, Penny. You got to have a plan. You got to prepare yourself, right?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, wait 6 more months. And then
and get a strategy together
and get a strategy in place. So, and also 6 months gives you a cycle that you're seeing 80% of your patients that value you most, you see in hygiene, right?
Yeah.
A minimum is 6 to 8 months is usually the minimum. I am totally against almost every practice that I've worked with that has sent the letter. I mean, I'm not saying they haven't survived, but a lot of them wind up back on the plans because it is such a shock.
Oh yeah,
like they flip out. Right, and then they just give up.
So why do some practices do that? Why do they send a letter out saying that they don't? It just seems like that's counterproductive to.
Well, it's non-confrontational, and they think that that's what they're supposed to do. So I'm not saying don't send. In other words, if there's some reason why you have to send a letter, I don't know of any contracted plans where you would have to.
Yeah.
Then send that letter. But I think part of it is it's just I'm irritated. I want to go ahead and get it done, and it's non-confrontational, and it's easier.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean we've got to have a conversation? When we got off of that DMO, between the hygienist and myself and our doctor, we had all had face-to-face. I mean, this was and we told them they had another choice of benefit plan, which now it's like, it was Delta, which is not as good as it was back then, but it was way better than what we were. So we educated them, right? So we need to say, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's why. Here's how this is a benefit to you, right? You can't say that in a letter.
No, you can't. And typically, a lot of the times, just keep in mind that we're in a relationship business, right, in dentistry. Mm-hmm. So it's got to come through that. I think that's the most effective way. The most efficient way would be sending in a letter, right? But we want to be more effective, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And then the other part, I mean, we're in that relationship business. If we can't look a patient in the eye and congruently, meaning our body language matches our tone of voice and the words that we're saying, tell them how it will benefit them to be part of a loyalty plan.
Yeah.
If for them, they're like, well, I can't come if you're out of network. Well, I understand your concern, right? Mm-hmm. I'm curious, could we explore this? Are you aware that we offer this? So what's most important to you about participating, about going to an in-network provider?
Yeah.
Right. We've got to be able to have those conversations.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's just, like we said earlier, that's market research, which is critical. That I don't think too many practices are doing that. Are you seeing that out there, that practices are taking advantage of just asking questions, simple questions to get some insight?
No, because it's too much work. That's what I'm. But I hate to say
some of the most important work you can do.
we live in the drive-through. Put $1 in the machine, get a Coke. Yeah. Everyone is praying for that marketing strategy where all I have to do is come up with the cutest and best ad.
And then we're good. And I don't have to talk to anybody.
I'm going to be famous and I won't have to work anymore. Yeah. Right?
It doesn't work that way.
but the things that work the best, in other words, and I mean, hey, if you struggle a little bit with this part of the episode, then what that means is, hey, you really need to be able to have a face-to-face conversation, and that's on the whole. How do you know when your team is ready?
Yeah,
you need to be able to practice it.
Yeah, with that in mind, I'm thinking, because I can relate all these things to even my business here, right? How can I, increase my client experience and stuff with practices that use Boom Cloud? And I'm thinking, well, we're taking an office out to lunch, their whole office, next week to just talk and learn about, like what they expect from us, and just do some market research face to face, right? Because I'm a huge believer in that, Penny, and what we've talked about here. And I'm getting a few of my key team members to come up with me, and we're gonna head over to this office and just hang out with them for a little bit and ask them questions and help them, help us understand really what they would be looking for in developing a better membership program for their practice. So I'm a huge believer in doing what you're teaching here.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, and I think, market research is great, right? Do that too.
Yeah.
Go and listen. If there's an office that's getting results with that, talk to them. What are the benefits to the patient? You ask, like, even the person in the sterilization area, right? And I don't want to say the least important person on the team, but the people with the least patient engagement.
They're just not as relevant as,
most of them will even know why it's important. So that's where, we want to jump to who's got the best letter, right? Who's got the best script for what to say to the patient. And not that those things are not important, but we've got to understand, everybody on the team believe it's about freedom.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just freedom for us. It's freedom for the patient. And we're living in the world of, you know what? It's not so bad. I can tolerate it right now. Don't think you'll be getting the same reimbursement and the same options 5 years from now, 10 years from now with these dental plans that you're getting now, right? It's a very competitive environment.
So quickly, it's crazy.
I'm not saying that I'm an insurance company advocate, but you know what? They're facing pressure too.
Of course they are.
Right?
Yeah,
they're all trying to win over these companies. How do we win this company's contract? Right? Well, the company is trying to get more for less money. That's why these plans wind up being just horrible. That's what the company bought.
Yeah, totally.
So, I think you can't make a better investment in your future than sitting down with the team and saying, okay, if we're really going to do this, right, let's talk about the why, what it means for us and what it means for the patient. And we've got to be able to, we have to believe it in order for them to believe it. Absolutely. And then that's where it starts.
Yeah.
So if Disney did PPOs and dental membership plans, their team would be fluent in it.
Oh,
they would spend time practicing it, and
perfecting it,
perfecting it. Their Disney Vacation Club, they already have it. The Disney layaway, as they have made Disney affordable. You know what? Maybe it's going to be 4 years before you get to take your family. But you can go ahead and plan that trip and start making payments on it.
Yeah,
and you don't have to qualify for a payment plan.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be learned from them, but I think primarily the importance of culture. And if I can, I don't know, Jordan, I think it'll be in the show notes, right? The website for the retreat. If people want to check that out.
Share it. We'll put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
I got all that information.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's easy to remember. It's magicaldentalretreats.com. And it's May the 3rd and 4th of 2019.
2019. So I would encourage anyone listening to go and check out what Penny is doing. I'm a big believer in what she's doing in the industry and how she educates practices on how to run their practice, right? And exactly what we talked about here today, the culture and getting the right mindset with your team. I'm a huge believer in what you're doing there, Penny. So thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor. And thank you for what you do and providing such an awesome resource for these dental offices so that they don't have to be, a slave
a slave
to the plans,
the
working for the man, a slave to the plans.
Working for the man, slave to the plan.
Right.
Awesome. And Penny, if anyone wants to reach out to you personally or even check out your not your event website, but your business website.
So best way to reach me, and of course my website is actually the end of the email address, right? So it's Penny, like the coin, PENNY, at pennyreed, PENNYREED.com. And then I have a cell number here. Man, I'm being brave.
Wow, you are being brave.
Yeah, 901-614-2234. Only for the Boom Cloud, Jordon and Ben just say no to PPO crowd, right?
Perfect.
So
That's awesome.
happy to do a complimentary coffee talk. If there's an office manager or a dentist that wants to chat, and of course would love to see you guys any of you guys at the Disney retreat. If you're just wanting to take things to the next level, it's amazing the role that culture plays in every single system implementation in the practice. It's in everything.
Yes, it is. So awesome, Penny. So be sure to go to magicaldentalretreats.com to check out Penny's Disney retreat there. It's going to be a pretty awesome event there, Penny. So again, thanks for coming on our show, and everyone, thanks for listening. We hope you guys have a fantastic day.